Peace and good morning. I've got to get a workflow that turns this mic on time. Like as soon as I switch screens, I'm gonna figure that one out, man. Peace and good morning, though. I'm Dragon's Pitchfork, aka Sha. Flip that around. Say it however you want to say it. I am doing a series called Getting It Together, where I'm showing you basically near real-time documentary behind the scenes on what I'm building, what I'm doing in my life. And for this segment, lately I've been reading a book called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, the author of The Secret. I've been reading this book because it is said to help people work their way out of negative thoughts through the power of gratitude, and work their people into getting more of what they want for life and from life through the power of gratitude. I've seen some miraculous things happen in some of the time that I've been using some of these practices, at least in my way of thinking, bare minimum. There were also some things early on that happened in relationships and in engagements that I feel may be attributed to me looking at doing things inside of this book, or using this book, what I've learned from this book. So I wanted to share it with people. I'm also reading it on here to develop a consistent habit of showing up online and just working on building routine. I've got a routine now, morning routine that I've been working on building as well, that includes meditation, some time on the treadmill, gratitude journaling. What else is in there? I forget what else. Obviously shower, but there's something else. I forget what it is. But it's that morning routine, I think, has been helping me feel better throughout the day and help me keep myself a little bit better centered. Oh, yoga, some asanas. 3 sun salutation A's or 3 sun sal A's. What I'm doing, what I did this morning was yesterday morning was some gratitude journaling. I thought I'd share because it was my bride to be's birthday. It was Yani's birthday, and I wouldn't be where I am without her. Just being honest, I was doing a lot of things on my own, and I was making a lot of progress, but I wouldn't have made nearly as much progress in battling depression and anxiety without her support, without her insight, without her input, and without her ear. So many different things from her. And I just, yesterday morning, it was her birthday, and I wanted to just, I went to write one thing, one note of gratitude about her. And then, I was like, why don't I just see, what are some of the reasons I'm grateful for her? So I journaled about her. My 10 items for The Magic were all about her. Yeah, I'm considering sharing them. I haven't looked at them today, since yesterday, but part of the practice from the book is to write 10 things that you're grateful for, read them back out loud to yourself, and repeat the words, thank you, thank you, thank you, with as much feeling as you possibly can. And I did, and we had a beautiful day yesterday, man. We got to see Ant-Man, Quantumania. That was dope. But along with that, her mother popped by and surprised us, and we hung out with her mother for a good part of the day. And the rest of the day was just magic. It was magic all from sun up to sundown. And maybe part of that is due to the fact that I took the time to focus on gratitude early on in the morning and didn't allow myself to get distracted, because there were definitely some things that could have brought my day down yesterday. Yesterday, my internet service was supposed to get cut off. I was able to file an extension. And that's been stressing me, things like that have been stressing me often. And that's part of the reason why I work through this book, and I work on showing up every day if I can. Yesterday, I didn't show up on here because, it came to a point where it's like, it's either do this or get back to spending some time with my bride to be and enjoy her birthday with her. Help make sure she has a good birthday, and make sure that whatever's going on inside of you doesn't affect her day and bring her day down. She deserves a beautiful birthday. Do what you can to make sure that she has it. So I know one thing that she's always concerned about is me overworking and me working too hard. I've heard that from significant others and family in the past too. So I wanted to make sure that didn't darken her day in any way. And just to kind of go through some of the stuff I was grateful for. Let's see, I'm grateful for my beautiful birthday bride to be because she is the light that leads my heart. Absolutely. I was at a point where my heart was darkening and it was getting really cold, and I was cutting a lot of people off, almost everybody. But through seeing the love and the attention and affection and genuine care and loyalty that she's shown me over these years, that's led me to believe that there's still good people out here, and it's worth pushing to find those people and connect with those people, regardless to all the bumps in the road and the people that take you for granted, the people who take advantage of you, the people who just don't consider you at all, the people who are just downright hurt inside, so they're mean and angry. She's shown me that there's still people out there who are worth putting in that work and putting in that effort for, to support and to find and connect with. I also said I'm grateful to Yani because she teaches me how to hope. Again, that goes with the same message. I had no hope for anything before. I was just doing for, because I have to try, but there was no genuine hope. It's just like, let me see. I told myself I was done with corporate America after my last experience in corporate, and seeing how dark that space can be, the people in that space can become. And also saw that in family and friendships, just saw a lot of darkness in the way people treated each other and treated one another. I had no hope for the world in general until meeting her mother, seeing that there's some people out here who genuinely intend to do well, regardless to, whether they make some mistakes or they slip up. And I think there are a lot more people out there like that. It's just a lot of us are acting out of pain and hurt. Said I'm grateful for Yani because she reminds me that love is a verb. A lot of times, once I've expressed I love you, I can sometimes get so wrapped up in pursuing my passions and just creativity and pursuing goals, because I'm so pre-programmed to do that, that sometimes I forget to just stop and just spend quality time. It's been a problem for me for years, my whole adulthood. And it's probably because I spent most of my childhood alone. Like I would get together and I would see people from time to time, but I had nobody with me on a consistent day-to-day basis. And I got used to being alone and got used to operating alone. So I have to remind myself that once you're connected intimately with other human beings, you got to interact with them. It's nothing malicious. It's just that my brain automatically thinks, go do this. And go do this is usually something to do alone, because most people aren't interested, that I've been in with, aren't interested in the things that I'm interested in. And let's bear in mind that I'm discovering and I'm investigating whether or not I may or may not be neurodivergent. I may be on the autistic spectrum. Definitely got some problems with attention. Maybe I've got ADHD. I don't know. I did a test. Yani and I both live streamed us taking a test recently, and the results said there's a high probability, but it's an online test. I got a couple other tests I want to take, and I just want to keep learning about these things, and learning about the tools that people use to deal with them is really the most important part for me. If I can find tools that can help me be more effective at what I do, then I know I can be much more successful than I am right now. My biggest problems, biggest challenges with success, I believe, come from what I believe may be autistic traits or ADHD. And yeah. Let's see. I'm grateful for Yani because she is honest with me about me and herself. I've never met anybody that's more lovingly honest. Not somebody who's just honest about their feelings when they're angry or upset, but somebody who I'm feeling like this and I'm sorry, but this is how I feel. And that leads to conversations that lead to healing, lead to growth, lead to connection like I've never seen before. I'm used to people just coming with anger and just venom when they've got a problem with me or when they've got something going on within themselves. That's priceless. That right there is one of the most priceless traits that she exhibits. I said I'm grateful for Yani because she showed me so many other forms of creativity I can tap into. I was a beat maker when I met her. I didn't even call myself a producer really, because in my opinion, to be a producer, you've got to be able to work with artists, coach artists, and get your vision out through working with people. And I haven't had a lot of luck with that. I've done great collaborations and just given somebody a beat and let them do whatever they do, and then I figure out something on top of that. And I guess that's a form of production, but whatever, the semantics. Through her, I learned to paint. So that painting back there, which is what led to the name Dragon's Pitchfork, that was named Dragon's Pitchfork before I was. And a bunch of other paintings around the house. I mean, she encouraged me to paint. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But through painting, I was able to transmute a lot of my feelings. I was able to meditate in motion and get through a lot of things. And that form of art has led me to being more confident in trying other forms of art. And it's led me to dive more into videography too. I've been doing video. I mean, this thing that you see right here on the screen, this whole look, it wouldn't have occurred without her encouraging me to dive into learning more about creativity and to look at myself as a well-rounded creator, as a creative, as opposed to just somebody who makes beats and might do a little something here and there. But yeah, the videography, I wouldn't be doing that. I only chose to do that because I knew and heard and read that you had to do video in order to get people to pay attention to your music. And I didn't want to do video. I didn't want to show up on camera, any of that. But she helped me find the confidence to do that and find creative ways to do that I was comfortable in. And I'm eternally grateful for that, because if I was just stuck with that beat making, I probably would have quit and found a job by now. So I'm grateful to Yani because she's shown me why I love being in nature. I spent a lot of time in nature before she and I met, but that was just for dog walks because I knew the dogs needed to be walked. And I knew for some reason it would feel different and it felt better because I was, at the time when I got Zen, I was not working. I was working here in the house on making beats and trying to figure out a way to build a community of people who understood the value of mental health, talking about mental health challenges and mental illness. And I was making a little bit of headway, but going out with the dog was, my breaks during the day. And I didn't know why I was drawn to do that. I mean, I could have just let him out in the backyard, right? But going out on those nature walks, I was really drawn to do that. And then through her explaining how she felt better and talking through why she felt she needed to be in nature, I discovered more and more how nature was a therapeutic thing. Being in nature was therapeutic for me as well. And then I was able to start using it more purposefully and intentionally. Like if I was feeling a certain way or if I was starting to feel down, I'd realize, hey, I need to go get outside in nature, go get out in those trees and those woods, away from technology and away from people, and just spend a moment with myself, with the world, or with the earth. I'm getting more and more into understanding that. I'm still, I feel like, at the front door of that. Said I'm grateful for Yani because she helped me learn to eat healthier. Yeah, I was already eating healthier. I stopped eating swine or pork back in the 90s, early 90s, stopped eating beef. And within a couple of years of that, back in the early to mid 90s, but I would occasionally have a little bit of beef here and there, like Five Guys. I would have a Five Guys burger like once or twice a year in the late 90s. And, when I got to the point of being depressed and I was kind of giving up on myself, I would have a bite of somebody's steak or something like that every once in a while. But I was also eating junk. I was eating like Wendy's fried spicy chicken sandwiches. Those were my joints. Used to love those sandwiches. And just a whole bunch of junk. Although it wasn't beef or pork and I thought I was eating well. But through her, we've worked our way through getting down to being pescatarian to now being plant-based, heavily plant-based, almost 100% plant-based. For example, I went to Auntie Anne's with my daughter the other day, and I got some pretzels and had a little cheese dip. That's horrible eating, but give myself the chance to give myself a little bit of grace. But through her, we've gotten damn near completely plant-based, and that has really changed my life. I feel like I think more clearly. I feel like I move and just operate more effectively, and I just feel better in general. So I'm appreciative of her for that, because she pushed for it because she wanted to be more plant-based. So I'm grateful for Yani because she leads us to find natural remedies. Yeah, I mean, if not for her, I probably would have got the jab. And so far, as far as I've seen, I don't need it. only reason I see that I could possibly need it is because of governmental regulations and stuff like that, and that doesn't feel right to me. So I'm fortunate that we found and used a bunch of natural remedies to help keep us healthy throughout the pandemic. And yes, it could have been fortunate just that we didn't come into contact, but we did catch COVID. And the worst of mine was 2 to 3 days. I was fortunate. Maybe I didn't catch one of the worst strains, but I just feel like through us looking at the more natural remedies, it's more in line with how I feel in my heart, what I feel is right in my heart. Something doesn't feel right about a whole bunch of other things. For example, when I was going through the worst of my depression and anxiety, going to doctors, first thing they did, without checking blood work, without getting to know me, without really trying to work with my counselor at the time, popping pills at me. 2 separate doctors threw pills at me right off bat. First day I saw them, without taking time to really get to know me and really get to answer my questions. I wasn't comfortable talking to them to begin with, and that made me even less comfortable. So I've really thought about that. And also, we had a conversation Thursday night with someone, Sharon, a woman by the name of Sharon. I forget her last name, but she's a mental health advocate, mental wellness professional. Believe she's a Reiki practitioner. And she said something that really hit me in my head. She said that we call all these traditional forms of medicine that have been used around the world for thousands and thousands of years, we call those alternative medicine. We call this thing that we adhere to and we swear by, this technological medicine and this commoditized business of medicine, traditional medicine, and call everything else that's really traditional alternative. That's a bomb to me. We're doing a new form of medicine now that includes experimenting on people in ways that Tuskegee, for example, there was admission by the government in the 90s, I believe, that there were radiation-based experiments conducted on people. There have been so many different ways that people have been experimented on with modern technological medicine, but there's so many restrictions to using natural remedies. I think there's a hybridized approach. There's some balanced approach that can be made to addressing these things. But when somebody's just pushing one, that gets me to feel funny. So getting more in tune with natural remedies at least has left me so that I'm not left stranded when I have less confidence in the medical system and the regulatory system that supports the medical system or drives the medical system and the businesses that drive it. Said I'm grateful for Yani because she reminds me of joy. Yeah. Her smile, her ability to find joy in simple moments throughout a day have been inspiring and have helped me remember that, even if you don't have what you're building or what you want, what you're trying to accomplish is not working out as you'd wish, there's still reasons to be joyful. And don't forget that, because that's what you want more than anything else in life is joy, happiness, not depression, not sadness, not anxiety, all those things that come with the rat race. So I'm grateful for Yani because she taught me that loyalty does exist. Yeah, that one's a big one, because for me, I haven't seen a lot of that in my life. I've seen people being loyal to themselves, which everybody should be, but I've also seen people have no problem doing some underhanded or disrespectful stuff to someone else. And I even got to the point at some point in my life where I was more and more comfortable doing underhanded and disrespectful things that my heart wasn't okay with. And I let myself become that way because I was looking at the world as that's the way the world is, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I'm realizing that you can control how much of that enters and is a part of your life. And through her showing me that it does exist, it's shown me that, I can keep on just saying no to living a life that includes people who operate in that manner. I said I'm grateful to Yani because she has helped me to understand, get in touch with, and begin to heal my inner child. Yeah, man, that was probably one of the biggest keys to me finding my way out of feeling like, yes, I'm depressed. Yes, I suffer from depression. For me, using depression in the present sense and identifying as a depressed person, because I was able to go back and find the roots of where my depression came from. Most of the roots of where my depression came from. So through going back and dealing with some of those pains and talking to myself about some of those things, I was able to find my way to realizing that I don't have to be depressed. I can find my way out of that. And that's something I couldn't find through the professionals I'd tried before. I definitely wasn't going to find those through a pill. So I definitely owe her a big, big dose of gratitude for that, because through being able to talk through some of those things, as well as just explore those concepts and those historical events on my own, I think I was able to find my way up out of the darkness. I think that was the biggest key to getting out of the darkness. And then I think there's two last ones. I'm grateful for the birthday girl. I'm grateful for Yani because she helped me cure my sex addiction. Yo, that was big. Yo, I realized that a lot of that sex addiction came from feelings of loneliness and feelings of just needing to feel like I was of value or wanted by somebody, and also it's probably a side effect of being molested as a kid. So being able to figure out why, and I'd heard other exes tell me that my sex drive was abnormally high in the past, and I thought it was just that something was wrong with them. But looking back on it, yeah, I definitely prioritized sex way too much, and I prioritized it over the value of meaningful relationships with women, I think, a lot. And that made a big difference in understanding like where the real value of an interpersonal relationship is. She's helped me find where the real value of an interpersonal romantic relationship is, and how sex is a component of that, but it's not as big a component as I made it out to be in my head. So I'm appreciative of that. Also said I'm grateful for Yani because she loves the entire me. Yeah. There are things she doesn't like about the way I act or perform or engage, and we talk about that instead of her just harping on that and getting pissed about that. And if there are things that she doesn't like that she knows are still pieces of my character, we talk about it, and she's still, hey, I know that's just you, I accept it. And I've always been that way with people, but I've never gotten the same in return. Like I've always been very understanding and accepting of people for who they are. Regardless of whether I like every piece of what I see or I engage with. But I didn't get a whole lot of that inbound, I don't feel like. So getting it through her and getting the honest conversation about it has been one of those other things that's been healing, cathartic, and something I appreciate about it, man. So eternal gratitude, example of what gratitude journaling looked like for me, especially since I didn't get to do it yesterday. Thank you for allowing me to share that moment. Let's get to reading the book so I can get on with my day. I got some things I want to do today. All right. We are on day 19 in the book, although it says day 18 on the stream. Day 19 is Magic Footsteps. You know what? I'm going to take a sip of water before I get going on this. I haven't had any water yet this morning, other than I think a quick sip when I woke up, and that's horrible practice. That's supposed to be part of my morning routine too, is they say 8 ounces of room temp water when you wake up. All right, let's roll. Day 19, Magic Footsteps. 100 times every day, I remind myself that my inner and outer life depend on the labors of other men, living and dead, and that I must exert myself in order to give in the same measure as I have received and am still receiving. Albert Einstein, 1879 to 1955. We know who he was. With those words, Einstein gave us a gift equal to his scientific discoveries. He gave us one of the magical secrets to his success, gratitude, every day. I've heard this too about Einstein, like gratitude was a huge part of his successes. So I'm glad to be reading this part. I've been interested and eager to read this part of the book. Einstein is the inspiration behind today's magical practice, and you are going to follow in his footsteps to bring success to your life. Today, like Einstein, you will say thank you 100 times, and you're going to do it by taking 100 magic footsteps. While it might seem unbelievable to you that taking footsteps can make a difference in your life, you will discover that it is one of the most powerful things you can do. God gave you a gift of 86,400 seconds today. Have you used one to say thank you? It's a quote from William A. Ward. To take magic footsteps, you take one step and in your mind say the magic words, thank you, as your foot touches the ground, and then say thank you as your other foot touches the ground. One foot, thank you, next foot, thank you, and continue saying the magic words with every footstep. The best thing about magic footsteps is that you can take any number of magic footsteps anywhere at any time, through your house, from one room to another, walking to get your lunch or coffee, taking the trash out, walking to a business meeting, on your way to catch a cab, train, or bus. You can take magic footsteps on your way to anything that is important to you, like exams, a date, a job interview, an audition, to meet a client, to the bank, ATM, dentist, doctor, hairdresser, to see your team playing a sports game, down corridors, through airport terminals, in parks, or from one block to another. I take magic footsteps around my home, from my bed to my bathroom, kitchen to my bathroom, and outside to my car and the mailbox. Whenever I walk down the street or walk anywhere, I choose a point as my destination, and I put gratitude in my footsteps all the way. If you take notice of how you're feeling before you begin, then you will notice a big difference in how you feel after you've taken magic footsteps. It doesn't matter if you can't get much of a feeling of gratitude while you're taking them. I promise you will still feel happier afterwards. If you're feeling down, magic footsteps will make you feel better. And even if you're feeling great, magic footsteps will lift your spirits even higher. You know what's funny about this too, is Yani mentioned this last week. Was it last week? It was last week or this week. We went out to the woods to go walk with Zinni and just play out in the woods. And she was dealing with something, and she said she tried the magic footsteps thing, and she said that definitely changed her day, the way she was feeling that day. So something interesting. To take the most effective magic footsteps, take magic footsteps for about 90 seconds. This is how long it will take the average person to take 100 steps at a leisurely pace. This practice is not about taking 100 steps exactly, but taking at least that number of steps, because it will probably take that number of footsteps to make a difference to the way you feel. Once you're clear on the approximate distance, you can take your 100 steps of gratitude anytime during the day. Don't count the footsteps when you're doing the practice, because you'll be counting instead of saying thank you, the magic words with each step. That was the first thing that was coming to mind for me, is like, yo, if I start doing this, how am I going to do both? I was already thinking in my head that I'm going to get lost, but again, I'm trying not to let my thoughts overshadow the lesson I'm trying to pick up from the book. When you've completed today's magical practice, you will have said the magic words, thank you, 100 times. How many days of your life have you said thank you 100 times? And Einstein did it every day. All right, now we go into the practice. This is dope. Short chapter. 4 steps for the day. You know steps 1 and 4, if you've been paying attention or rocking with me. Steps 1 and 4 are the same. Step 1 of the magic footsteps practice is count your blessings. Make a list of 10 blessings. Write why you're grateful. Reread your list. And at the end of each blessing, say thank you, thank you, thank you, and feel as grateful for that blessing as you can. That feeling part is important, man. I feel like I noticed this morning when I was doing it, I could feel like something in my skin and in my body when I was saying the thank yous, and I intended to say it with feeling. Like I could feel a physical sensation. I'm still learning, trying to figure out how to describe it and how to identify it, but I'm watching that and I'm noticing that. I've been watching that over the past couple weeks. Step 2, take 100 magic footsteps for about 90 seconds in gratitude anytime during the day. That's going to be easy. Step 3, with each footstep, say and feel the magic words, thank you. 4, just before you go to sleep tonight, hold your magic rock in one hand and say the magic words, thank you, for the best thing that happened during the day. Yeah. Yesterday, doing that step 4 yesterday was interesting for me, because it was really hard for me to find a best thing, because there was so much dope stuff that happened during the day yesterday. So I just had to be thankful for a lot of yesterday in general. Yeah, man, this has been good. I appreciate today. Appreciate anybody that rocked with me today. This is Getting It Together, Read With Me series, Reading the Magic by Rhonda Byrne, the author of The Magic. I appreciate your time, appreciate you, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. Love.